from a young age, where I have an interesting perspective is I met like a lot of really successful entrepreneurs when I was young, like like I'm speaking like I'm not young. When I was younger, um, back in my youngin days, a lot of really successful people, and I noticed most of them like only had money, and so it's like once I started to meet people, it's like you got family, you got more important things. That stuff always comes first.
And I think now you'd understand it, that that's real richness, right? A real richness is having a quality of life that is not defined by a number on a screen or digital things. Because, sometimes our minds get caught up in, as men, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in a position in where we are the qawam and the rijal, those who are the caretakers of our women folk and our families. So it's in our natural interest to care about money, care about our bank account, make sure that we're taking care of people, and sometimes our families might not see it. They might think that we are being distant from them, or we're working all the time. And well, the reason we're working all the time is because that's how Allah has programmed us, right? He's programmed us to be providers and caretakers of our loved ones. So what they don't realize sometimes, and this is where the disconnect is, and this is where Shaytan comes in as well, is that it's out of the loving care that I have for them, which is why I go and provide. Because if it was up to you and I, we'd live in a box, bro. We'd chilling. We don't need all this stuff. You get what I'm saying? But for my wife, I want to make sure that she's taken care of. My daughters, I want to make sure they're taken care of, because it's important, right? It's important for them to have certain things, and from those luxuries, I enjoy some things too. But we do these things for them, and sometimes, as the women are naturally programmed to want that time, want that attention, it makes you. They'll tell you that, look, a good woman at least will tell you, I don't even want these things. I just want you. I want your time. I want your emotional interest, your emotional, attention, and the emotional intimacy side of things. But I think that sometimes men become so hyper obsessed about providing for their family when they don't realize that the real thing that they need to provide for their family is their own time and their own love and their own attention. That's what your families truly want. You guys can live in a budget. You guys can live in tighter means, because that's not what your family wants. You could cut off a few subscriptions here and there. You could cut off certain extra costs so you could trim down your time. You could either make more money, right? That's a good way, or you can reduce your costs, right? That's another way that you can, live your life and do things. Unfortunately, nobody wants to ever reduce their costs, right? They just want to earn more money, which is good. Alhamdulillah, that's a noble thing. But at the same time, at what cost? Right, losing your family, watching your girls not grow up. Right, every time you come home, they're a little bit older, a little bit more wiser, and it wasn't any thanks to you. So I'm at this stage of my life, bro. Like, the same way you said that, not that I'm not young, and you're giving yourself unk status over here, Canyon. But I'm at a stage of my life too, like I'm speaking like I'm 87 myself, but I'm at a stage of my life where I want to provide them the time. I want to provide my attention with them. I want to raise them also, So that's where I'm at this stage of my life. And and for me, financial freedom means the ability to do what I want to do. Financial freedom does not mean me taking a flick on a private jet. That's illusion. That's the Instagram definition of what financial freedom means. But for me, financial freedom means the ability to take my kids out when I want to take them out. When they say, Dad, let's go play, do something, I can go play and do something, and not say, hey, I got to go work. I got to leave the house to go somewhere else to serve. Rather, you are my job. Taking care of you is my responsibility. That is my 9 to 5, my 24, my 7, all the time. It's you guys, and this way, we build these core memories with our kids, and life moves on.
Yeah. I talk about money a lot, and I think sometimes people get me misunderstood by saying like, "Oh, want to become rich, so you have rich status." When it's like
Wow.
the whole point, money is the vehicle to get you the
True.
freedom with your family. It's the
Very true.
vehicle to give your family the peace of mind, right? It's the vehicle if your
Yes.
family goes through health issues to be able to take care of them.
Yes, it's a tool. It's a tool, and finances belong in your hand and not in your heart. And this is important for people to understand this. I remember when I was much younger, I used to just have this obsession, right? I'm from New York City, bro. Like, we are the definition of street culture. We're the definition of cool, right? Trends come out of New York, right? By the time they reach the UK, we're already past those trends, and you guys are still having them and using them over there, right? So for me growing up, sneakers was a big thing, clothes was a real thing, going to Soho and splashing out a little bit, that was like the thing. And I thought that that's what richness meant, right? Now, bro, I have sneakers on the floor laying around me, and I'm just like, whatever about it, right? I have more now than I ever had then, which I wished I had back then. But even though I had things back then, I never had that tranquility of my heart. So yeah, I understand why people think about money in the sense of like, oh, you got to become rich, and they have that negative perspective. But like you said, it's a vehicle, Canyon. It's a tool. It's a tool that helps you, and you allow to use it, not it use you. Unfortunately, you would know this, right? It uses people, right? And people make it its master, right? They become master to the money, right? They make that their act of worship, unfortunately. And we know better. We know better that this thing is not something to worship. It's not worth it. Money comes and goes. It's a real statement. I would not have understood this a few years ago, but money comes and goes. What truly matters is your health, your family, your peace of mind, bro. Your peace of mind, bro. You could be rich, but you could be, popping perks all day. Like what? Like what? Come on, like that's what you want to do. Like, was it worth it, right? You want to be in a performante, right? But you had to pop a perk just so that you can, like, keep yourself together, or you got to take an Ambien just so you could go to sleep, but you got, M's in the bank account, right? What would you rather like? Would you rather be addicted to Ambiens and sleeping pills and perks and Vicodins and Addies and all this stuff just so that you have some M's in the bank account? Or are you calm with a few thousands in your bank account? Alhamdulillah, you have your peace of mind, your tranquility, and you have your sakina, and you're good to go. So I think that people need to really measure these things out and realize that money is just a tool and nothing more. It's nothing to be worshipped or sought after or chased after.
Yeah. Well, I think some people think that the money has to be achieved to get the other things. Like they're like, well, I first have to
Mm.
get the money to have the relationship. Like I see this a lot. Kind of goes around like a meme in the Ummah space where it's just like oh, I can't get married because I don't have enough money, and
Yeah,
then they like
true.
tie money to the problem.
True, 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 true. This is actually one of the main reasons a lot of people think that they can't get married. I mean, besides the factors that your parents are probably making it difficult on you, and there's like a whole lot of other private factors that go behind it, but money is never really the issue. I can tell you this honestly, I didn't have much. I still don't have much, but I have more than what I had back then, alhamdulillah. And Allah has blessed me in a lot of more ways. And the concept of rizq is not money. A lot of Muslims misunderstand it. Rizq is not money. People, when they think, oh, Allah will grow your rizq, they think that, oh, where's the money? But that's not rizq, right? The ability to have certain gifts is a rizq, right? Like if someone is a good speaker, that's rizq, right? If someone's a good communicator, that's rizq. If someone is really awesome in having emotional intelligence, that's also rizq, right? If a person has good friendship around them, that's rizq. Rizq is not something monetary, right? If a person has the health, that's rizq. People have attached rizq to, excuse me, finances, which is the complete opposite of what risk is. And not only that, you're limiting your risk when you only think about finances, because you only think that, oh, risk is happening when I achieve all these numbers. Well, no, you're actually now moving from a place of ingratitude, vibrating at a lower frequency, and now you're only attracting all the types of wrong things in your life because you aren't seeing the blessings that Allah has given you. You're not seeing them as blessings. You're not even recognizing them to be blessings. So you're not even understanding that, wow, you are richer than you realize. You have so much risk, more than you realize. So, we all know marriages doesn't happen. You're not married because you don't have no, your extra risk or something. You probably don't have no riz, maybe that's the reason you're not married, right? But the truth is, bro, that's not stopping anyone. Allah opens our doors, and when I know early on when I got married, I didn't have much, but alhamdulillah, the moment I got married, I noticed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is opening the doors for me more, increasing me in ways that I just can't understand, right? That I never anticipated. Things that I was worried about, He took care of, right? I'm just riding on barakah energy, my brother. That is it. I don't know how the bills get paid. I don't know how anything happens. I just live my life, and I'm just thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's taking care of me and my family. And I just ride that wave, bro. But you definitely made a really good point, brother Canyon.
Well, I have a firm belief that money amplifies who you are, right? So it's like
Mm,
if you're not on your Deen, you don't have any good relationships, you don't have any good healthy habits, and then you're like, oh, I get a bunch of money that will solve all my problems. All that
mm,
does is just amplify those problems. Versus if you focus on
Yeah.
getting in shape, getting healthy, staying on your deen, getting on your prayers, and then you make money, you amplify that type of person.
That's an excellent point to mention. And you don't need money for any of those things in the first place, right? You don't need money to have successful relationships. You don't need money to have good health. You don't need money to have good disciplined morning routines. You don't need money for any of those things. Money doesn't solve those things. And as you mentioned, it amplifies it. And I would even add that money is also a revealer. It reveals who you really were, right? It allows you to expose you. It exposes who you always was. Because the moment a person, imagine a person is, famous, they're rich, they're strong, bro, they're out of control. You can't control them unless they don't have the inner control of their own nafs. My bro, if you become rich or you have a bunch of money, no one could say nothing to you. You're a man of your own stature. You have your own things. You can make your own moves. So who's going to say something to you? So the same way not having is a test, having it's a huge test, right? Because it amplifies those qualities that are already bad inside of you, or it exposes those qualities that were already bad and they were hidden inside of you. Now they come up to the surface. Like before you had any money, you was this humble guy, nice, patient. Now that you have some money, you're a little bit more demanding. You're a little bit more intolerant. You're a little bit more impatient. And they're like, oh, money switched him up. No, money exposed those qualities that were always buried deep underneath him, but he could never use those qualities, never do those things because he never had the status to do that. The moment now he has some money, now all those qualities that he had came up straight to the surface. And this is Allah's way of exposing who you always been. So you don't need money to do honest reflections, right? You don't need money to genuinely thank Allah for what you have. You don't need money to do the purification of the heart. These things are free. The only thing that it does cost is your time, your reflection, your energy, and it costs you giving a damn. You're like, you got to care about these things. And I've noticed, and you'd probably see this the same, that once you take care of those things, money and all these things is the byproduct of all the other disciplines that you've done.
Yeah. It's a really fine balance between not saying, oh, money is not important at all, because you do need money, right? To really provide and take care of your family and be that provider. But we can't make money our master. So it's just finding that healthy balance of, okay, I'm going to strive to become financially successful, but I'm not going to put this above my family, above my deen, above my
Agreed.
relationship.
Agreed, right? Having money is not everything, but not having it is, right? You gotta have money. Money is important, right? And a believer is better than a weak believer. So we're not in no way suggesting that money, you don't need it. Go live like a monk or something like. No way, bro. And it's not to say or suggest any of those things. Rather, it's to understand that, like you said, it's a tool. Don't make it your master, as you beautifully put it. Don't serve it, allow it to serve you, right? Use the money to serve you and take care of your needs, right? But making this your master and slaving after it, bro, you hustling backwards.
What do you think the youth needs help with the most right now?
I think good friendship. Friendship is something, my brother, that we all crave for, that we all long for. And now that we're in a serious digital age, a lot of our friendships are all like, right over here. You get what I'm saying? Like all of our friendships lie on our phones. And since COVID happened, and people were already a little antisocial, but COVID allowed people to really become antisocial. And they became just super digital people that, the kids got used to wearing masks at one point and just being away from people and just like being in group chats all the time and being on discords all the time that, they don't, like they say, they need to get out and touch some grass. They need to just like really do something over here. But unfortunately, a lot of kids are just living in this digital space, and you might get a friend online, but the friends online, unfortunately, one, they're not always who they say they are majority of the time. Two, anyone could type something and be really really good at typing, but in real life be quiet, be not know what to say, and being shy. We see this all the time. Sometimes I meet some content creators who are like online, are like, oh, this high energy, all this, but in person they're all like shy and this. I'm like, what, bro? Like, you got to be yourself, bro. What is this? What's happening over here, right? This who you are is who you are, brother. Like just don't play a character, brother, because you're gonna end up losing yourself in the process. But I would say friendship is a massive thing because the Prophet Muhammad SAW said that you are on the deen of your friends, right? You're on their path. So if you are around people who don't call you to get closer to Allah, people who are not helping you get closer to Allah, people who don't want to see you win, if you're around people who are like vaping and doing all this other stuff, bro, you say no today, you say no tomorrow, but it's only a matter of time before you do pick up and you say, yes, let me give it a try, right? And even if you don't give it a try, you're guilty by association. You know, people are going to see you with such and such friends and they're going to assume the same type of ratchetness about them and they're going to put that on you. If someone's like a womanizer, if someone is dealing drugs, if someone is doing like haram, they're just going to assume that the fact that you're next to them must mean you're doing the same thing, right? Because that's just the way of the world, right? That's how we attract each other. We're around those types of people. So I think the biggest thing that's plaguing people is having the right types of friends, and the friends help your identity. So most of the Muslims, young Muslims, even some older ones, are going through an identity crisis, massive one. They don't understand their Islamic identity, which has caused them to lose their own personal identity. And I can say this because I've been through it. So whenever someone's been through these types of things, we have this ability of seeing the signs, right? That an average person can't see because they wouldn't know what to look for, right? So because Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me to live a very unique life, to say the least, right? I'm able to see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me that wisdom to see what works, what doesn't work, and so on and so forth. So I can see that the Muslim identity is being crushed. They're trying to be like someone they're not. And as Muslims, brother, we are designed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be conquerors. That's how we are. People who go and voyage and conquest and take land and, spread the deen. That's how Allah has made us. And the moment we don't live by that purpose, we're going to get conquered, right? And the first thing that gets conquered is our nafs. Our nafs becomes our master, and we become masters to this thing that needs to be tamed. If your nafs is not tamed, my brother, you will make that your Lord, and you're going to be out of control. Right. So you have to first, you got to start with taming your nafs, right? And if you're around the wrong types of friends, they're not going to help you tame your nafs. Rather, they put more fuel to the fire, right? More gas on that fire to make your nafs even worse. And which will cause you to lose yourself, hence losing your Islamic identity, hence you building that world on a spider web that looks beautiful, but in reality you have nothing to your name, and there's your life is fragile, so to speak. So friendships, which then ruin the Islamic identity, I would say would be the definitely the biggest things, my brother.
Yeah, and we get in a really slippery slope when we stay associated with people who are going to drag us down because we can think, oh, I'm back on my Deen, it doesn't matter. Like I'm on it. They're not going to influence me, but it will
Yeah.
slowly start to seep back in your life. And those people who you associate with, they're slowly going to change your behavior. And then 6 months will go by and you'll realize like, I haven't been praying. When was the last time
My
I was at the
brother,
mosque?
you mentioned such a great point, without you even realizing, because look, it's like Shaitan wants you to sleep at the wheel, right? If Shaitan wants you to sleep at the wheel, he has to like lull you to sleep. He has to stroke you, stroke your ego. Just make sure that you're calm and easy, right? Because you have to fall asleep at the wheel without you realizing you're falling asleep at the wheel. You ever driving, you're tired, and you wake up a little bit, right? That's what Shaitan doesn't want you to do, right? He wants you to fall asleep at the wheel because that's when he gets to put you in autopilot and take over. But you ever notice if you're driving on the highway, or you guys call it the motorway and all that stuff, suppose you're on the M40 or something like that, and you find yourself falling asleep or drifting a little bit, right? And your wheel starts turning a little bit like that. You ever notice that on the highway they got these ridges on the side, right? Those ridges are designed to wake you up because the moment you do that, oh shoot, right? You get your life together. If your passenger is sleeping, oh, what's happened? What's wrong, right? This is what we need. We need activators like this. We need reminders, or that they're supposed to shake you and wake you up. Like, what you doing, bro? You know. So Shaitan wants you to sleep at the wheel. Before you know it, 6 months have been, you haven't been praying. You've lost your consistency. Friendship is literally everything. Friendship will, if you have good friends who not only want to grow on the Deen, but they also want to grow on the Dunya, bro. What? Bismillah, bro. Like what? Y'all could get some M's together, bro. This is good news. You want friendships like that, but salah comes first. If a person wants to grow their risk, I had to learn this the hard way, but if a person really wants to grow their risk, the first thing that they need to do is stop chasing it. The more you chase, the more you chase this dunya, the further and faster it runs away from you. This is a divine law. This isn't. It's as real as gravity is real. You know, we all are receiving the effects of gravity right now. You're seated, I'm seated. You know, even though we're in different parts of the world, there's certain laws that we are all governed by. We all need oxygen, right? There's certain realities that cannot be escaped. These are laws of this world that we are governed and ruled by and imprisoned by. There's also divine laws that we are also governed by as well too. And the first one of the divine laws I had to learn is that the more you make this world your end goal and priority and money and the dunya your thing, right? The more it will run away from you. And rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring poverty in front of your face that even if you had it all, you'll feel like you have nothing. And this is the lack of barakah inside of your rizq, right? This is the reality, right? It's like chasing your shadow. You'll never catch it and it'll run further from you the more you do it. So the divine law is to chase the akhirah, chase the light, chase the source of all goodness, all rizq, all dunya. And then notice that the dunya, the world, will be brought to your feet. This is a divine law. This is a law from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner of it all. This is not something SQ is making up. This is divine law. So when this happens, my brother, we realize that hey, we're hustling backwards right now. Instead of chasing your shadow, why don't you chase the light? And your shadow's going to chase you. This is how the world works. So the divine law is to make your akhirah your priority. And Allah will bring the dunya, not only what you were allocated, because we are allocated a certain part of this world, that's in our rizq, but Allah will give you more than you were just allocated. And you will have that tranquility in your heart. So that's the divine law. You got to follow the divine law. And once you do, you'll notice that things are going to change for you.
I think a powerful combination is if you can find a way to get worldly success in a way that also gets you good deeds. So it's like one of my favorite duas or things to pray for is Ya Allah, I pray that you give everyone abundance in this life and an abundance in the hereafter. Right? You pray for the goodness of this life and the goodness of the next. And if
Beautiful.
we can find a way to become successful in this world that gets us good deeds, like I was using your clothing company as an example. Right? It's like you can have a company that can make
Yeah.
money, and then every time someone's wearing one of those hoodies and someone goes, hey, what's that? Oh, that's the Kaaba. And then they talk about it. There's good deeds that will come from that. So it's like you can combine something that
Yes.
gets you rewards and
Yes.
also gets you success in this life.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something that people don't realize. Your intentions is the ceiling to your success. The more intentions you have, the higher your ceiling. You're not capping yourself out. You're not boxing yourself in to what you can possibly do, right? You have more potential than you realize, and your intentions are stopping you from doing that. The lack of intention, right? You can have something like my intention. Allah knows exactly what my intentions are for these. I don't have to declare it every single time, but since you mentioned it up, it's clear. It's for da'wah purposes, right? It's to obviously look stylish. It's to cover your aura. It's to cover and be dressed in a halal way. But it's also designed for a nonprofit. I'm able to all those Qurans that I give out for free. They're expensive, and I'm personally not someone who likes handouts. I don't like it. I don't like asking people for things. I never have. That's just alhamdulillah, like that's just something that Allah has put in me, bro, that I never like doing. I never like asking people. So I realized that, I don't want to go to masjid and say, hey, brothers and sisters, we have that. And look, that's okay too, right? That's okay. Like if I need to raise money for my Quran projects, like that's okay. But I wanted to establish like a machine, right? That just does its own thing where, a person who buys this over here, not only do they look fly, not only do they look good, there's halal, supporting a Muslim business, which is the ultimate thing like a person should be doing. Like we should only be shopping from Muslims. And I'm a huge believer of that. Unless you have to leave the Muslim space to get something, you should be shopping within the Muslim space, and helping the Muslim economy. It's important. And at the same time, we've linked this to all the Qurans that we give out for free. So I'm able to purchase Qurans through this merchandise so that I don't have to ask around for it. So a person is literally wearing and is a walking Sadaqah Jariyah. Plus, it's fly, bro. It's nice. It's good. It's high quality. It's premium. I don't charge a lot of money for it, not because I can't, right? And I remember someone just looked at it. I remember a brother of mine, he started his clothing line because I think that's the thing to do now. People think that, oh, I got to drop merch and I got to do this. Is a big thing that's happening, and you know this better than anyone, brother. Being business minded and stuff like that, you know, there's so many people doing it, right? The market gets saturated. Yeah, it does, but what it's also creating is this bubble, and the bubble is going to pop, and only the strong are going to survive. Those who are truly passionate about this and didn't just pick this up as a side hustle or some little arts and crafts project, right? They're gonna quit when the going gets tough because this isn't their real calling. It's not their real passion. You get what I mean, right? So, they're just gonna quit once the economy switches up or whatever. But those who are about the fashion, they want this, they love this, right? They're gonna find a new way to make something happen because that's what they do. This is what they want. So they're designers, they're creatives. They're gonna figure out a new way to make some things happen. So, I know for a fact for what we're doing right now is that we want to build this as the largest Islamic streetwear in the world, and I believe that it will happen. And we charge a lower price, not because we can't charge more. This brother started his thing, and bro charged an arm and a leg for it. I said, I'm like, bro, you're not Louis Vuitton, respectfully, bro. One, you're not there, and I get that you can charge some premiums here, but just because you can charge it doesn't mean you should. And for me, my brother, it's more important for me to see my shirt on you than it is for me to make a profit from it. So what we've done is that we've done bare bottom barrel costs over here. How much does it cost for me to get a box of Qurans? Okay, it's about $65 to $70. Okay, that's what we're gonna charge for the set of our hoodies. That's it. I want the Quran box. That's what I want, right? Okay, how much is it going to be for this or whatever like that? This cost over here is only $20. Okay, let's charge only this much for the shirt. Let's just only do that. Why? Because that's what it's more important for me for a person to go on the side and be like, yo. What fire? Okay, let's do it. And when they receive it, they're like, "Yo, this is way more better quality than I even paid for." Right? It's like you undersell, over deliver. I'm a big fan of that, right? I love to give more value than a person expected to have. So when a person touches the material, they sees the material, they're like, yo, this is premium stuff, and it was only this much. They're like, nah, this is actually good. And in my opinion, that puts a lot more barakah in what you do. And the coolest thing for me, bro, is to walk down the street or see someone wearing my stuff. Bro, I get geeked out. I'm be like, yo, can I take a picture with you, bro? Like, this is so fire. So I'm not, Allah knows I'm really not here to make profits off these things. I really just want to spread Islam and use this to spread Islam as a walking dawah billboard, and also just fund my Qurans, bro. If I could just get my Qurans funded, I'm chilling, bro.
How do we make sure our intentions stay pure, especially when we start to see some success? Because I think it totally makes sense. Like when we start, it's okay. Allah, my intention, I want to help people, but then it's like, Shaytan comes in and we start, oh, you've got 100,000 followers
Mm.
now. Oh, you're big guy. How do we
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
our intentions pure?
You have to be grounded in the real world, my brother. You have to be surrounding yourself around loved ones, around people who ground you as well, people who are not yes men, right? People who just stroke your ego, people who don't just glaze you, right? You got to be around people, teachers, right? People who genuinely care about you. People find this surprising, and I've been doing this for a minute now, alhamdulillah. I'm telling you, Unk status, Canyon, I'm getting up there, bro. I've got some grays in my beard too. I'm getting up there. I've been doing this for a minute now, and I've seen people come and go. It's just a reality, right? And it's just by Allah's mercy that it hasn't happened to me, and it could happen to me, bro. I don't consider this. I just know that I'm very grateful and privileged to be in this position because I've seen others who are no longer here, and it makes me appreciate this a little bit more. That wow, none of these things are promised. I do not think that I'm gonna post a YouTube video and then you just gotta go run and do it. No, I believe I have to earn your business every single time. I believe that on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what he tells us that the son of Adam's feet won't move until you asked about five things. One of those things is how did you spend your time? The way I look at things, Brother Canyon, is that a moment someone watches my video or interacts with any piece of my content, I am now one of those things that Allah will question you about. Those 36 seconds or a long form video on YouTube is embedded in your life. That is something that Allah will question you about. Those seconds, those minutes, those hours that you consume my content, that is something that I am now with you on the day of judgment. I'm there. So it is my job and duty to make sure that every second counts. I'm not wasting your time. I don't want to waste anyone's time. If it's not beneficial, I don't do it. I don't post it. If I don't think it's beneficial, I don't leave that to the status of what people think. I know because Alhamdulillah, Allah has grounded me now, surrounded me, and given me a little bit more wisdom and an ability to not be clout chasing. I was a massive clout chaser in the beginning. I personally feel like now in hindsight, I can see it. I feel like I was. I feel like my intentions were wrong. I feel like I got the taste of a little bit of growth and you chase it a little bit more. You get a video that performs really well, that gets you a lot of followers. Now you're like, how do I do this video again? How do I replicate it again? What was the hook? What was the this? What was the 3 seconds? What was the bro? Do you remember when you actually made it what your intentions were? Maybe that's the reason Allah put barakah in it. Yeah, there might be some technicalities, some science behind it, but what if it was the intention behind it, right? That allowed it to go. And here's the funny part, right? You try to mirror the same exact video again and it doesn't perform that well. Now you're frustrated. The first time you had no expectations and it blew up and you're like, yo, what? But now you have expectations, right? So I don't think like that, my brother. I believe that I am earning everyone's business every single time, brand new, all over again. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, or it doesn't matter any of these things. You do not need to watch an SQ video. I have to give you a reason to. That means packaging it in the correct way. I spend a lot of time on my thumbnails. I spend a lot of time on my titles because those are the most important things for a person to click through my video on YouTube. I make sure they're good for the sake of Allah, for the sake of someone, for the sake of ihsan, for making sure that I've done it correctly, for the sake of Allah. I've polished it for the sake of Allah. So to answer your question about intentions and how do you do it, bro, I mean, 100K, it's nice. But bro, there's people with millions, bro, and they're super humble. I was at the Habib event, and bro, this dude is at the peak of his success. But he doesn't view himself like that. He's a very humble dude. He doesn't see himself the way that everybody thinks they would if they had it. And maybe that's the reason Allah gave it to him, because he didn't allow it to get to his head. You understand what I mean? So like yeah, bro, I just think that it's it's something that is a massive test for the people. Clout is a hell of a drug and it's a scary thing. And I personally run away from it now. Once upon a time, I used to run towards it. Now I completely run away from it. Besides popular opinion or what people might think that I'm doing it for, I spend a lot of time perfecting my intentions and trying my best to make my intentions pure and doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake and doing all the work off the camera, offline. That's where the intentions become purified, not online, brother. It's all offline. You have to sit with the right people, be grounded with the right people, have people in your circle, in your life who will tell you, yo, that wasn't right. I know people who have surrounded themselves around yes men. And the moment they advise them, you know what they'll tell them, my brother? They're jealous. They're jealous. They'll cut them out of their circle. They're jealous. They're moving funny. Oh no, they're jealous of you. Or these people that you've had a decade worth of relationship with, they see something in you that you can't see in yourself, because a believer is a mirror and a reflection to another believer. So they come to you and advise you, be like, nah, you're moving kind of funny now and all that sort of stuff. And you think, oh, they're jealous of my success. They're jealous about it. No, they're not, bro. They're not jealous. You're literally the same dude to them, bro. They actually know you before all of this. Why are they jealous of you? They know you before this, bro. This is the problem. This lens, this thing. People, bro, have lost their intentions. They've forgotten who they are. Their identities are there. And now with social media being in the access of everyone's hands, my brother, we haven't seen such a problem. The same way there's opioid pandemics. There's a influencer pandemic, my brother. Everyone wants to just be an influencer. Why? The perks. Oh, you get to a restaurant and they might just give you something for free. Then people might send you things for free. Wallahi, bro, I see people use it. I see people use their clout and their influence you know, to leverage a situation. And for me, bro, I don't. I'm telling you, I've seen Habib yesterday. He doesn't need to leverage anything, bro. Allah just blesses him, and I'm just like, yo, I want to be like that. I want to just have it and not feel like I have it. So this has caused me to be even more down to earth. It's caused me to be even more, and which I found out that makes people love you even more. It's crazy, bro. The more you fix your intention, the more humble. Not you're not fake humble, but you genuinely ground yourself and you remind yourself that you're a nobody, bro. Like 100K followers, big whoop. There's people who have millions of followers, right? Like you're not even where you need to be. But I get it. I get it. There is an ego side of things that makes you feel like you're more than what you actually are. But the truth of the matter is, my brothers, is that we are literally just an overgrown drop of sperm. That's all we are. We just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just chose to make that one get fertilized in the egg. You literally are just that, bro. A few years ago, you were literally, you defecating on yourself, and someone had to wipe you and clean you. And if no one wiped you, you would cry, my brother. You would cry until you were red. And if no one took care of you, you would have a rash on your butt, bro. This was our status. Now that same person thinks 100K followers means something, my brother. It does not. Clout, the Prophet Muhammad SAW said that he fears more for a person's pursuit and thirst for fame and clout than he does two hungry, starved wolves being let loose in a flock of sheep. Imagine in a confinement of sheep. Vulnerable, my brother. A sheep is not a predator. They can't defend themselves. They're lamb chops. They're literally there to be zabiha, bro. They can't do nothing. And you have two wolves there, hungry, ravaging, ready to destroy. And they're not just going to eat. They're going to overeat because they haven't eaten, my brother. It's over for you. He said, I fear more, right? For my ummah, the success and clout and fame than I do two wolves on being unleashed. And look at how strong of an imagery that Rasulullah SAW gave us, my brother. Clout is a scary hell of a drug, bro. I've seen people switch up. I've seen it with my own eyes, my brother. And I think that sometimes I can see it because in the past, maybe I've switched up. And now, alhamdulillah, I've calmed myself down a lot in the years, alhamdulillah, by Allah's mercy and permission. But I see it now because I see the telltale signs because I've been there before. And people don't realize this, but people when the camera turn on, they're different people and they don't see that. And I think that I see it because I was that. I was being like that. And I wasn't being my actual authentic self. I was trying to be like someone else. So you have to be grounded in your intentions. You have to renew your intention. You're like, how do how does the intention change? It's supposed to change. That's what intentions do, right? Niyyah is designed in that way to change. So it is your responsibility to renew your intentions. Remind yourself with each video that not only that you post, but before you record, did you renew your intention, right? Because some people are more focused on the numbers, engagement, but not the impact. The impact is what's going to touch people's hearts. You got to focus on the impact. And if you focus on the numbers, right, and going from the business perspective, right, what's the ROI? I mean, what was the ROI of Nuh alayhi salam giving da'wah for 950 years? I'm sorry, but bro deserves to be fired. Bro, 950 years, scholars say the highest number was like 60 something. Some scholars say maybe 100 followers. Bro had more animals on his boat than he did human beings. So are you going to tell me that his mission was a failure because he didn't hit the right numbers? Right? There's prophets that are going to be raised on the day of judgment that will have zero followers, bro. Zero followers, bro. You have more views than Nuh alayhi salam ever had a follower. Bro. You have more followers on your Instagram, this and that, Nuh alayhi salam ever had, more than prophets ever had, my brother. You have a burden of responsibility. Once you start seeing your platforms as a place of burden and responsibility, you will move in a different and better way, inshallah. You will, because you're like, oh shoot, this isn't a game anymore, bro. People really look at me and all that sort of stuff. You gotta be better offline than you are online. You gotta be better privately than you are publicly. This is a reality, and we gotta be better. And this is a message to me. I'm only speaking from what I know, my brother, and this is something that I have to tell myself every day. You got to renew your intentions and remind yourself why you're doing this. What's the purpose? It's easy to fall asleep behind the wheel and get your intentions changed. That's what Shaytan wants, my brother. But we cannot allow him to do that because that's the game. We have to be better. We have to wake up and take control of our life. No autopilot, no nothing. Just really take hands of the wheel. Renew your intention, fix your intentions, ground yourself around real people. A lot of time influencers, I throw that word out, right? Influencers, right? Even though that's such a fake, stupid kind of word. Like, I don't like it. Even when people like refer to me as well, I'm just like, oh, I'm not an influencer, but okay, cool, right? But like, what else are you going to call me, right? I just say I'm a da'i, right? Maybe I'm a YouTuber, right? I'm not an influencer. I'm just a father. I'm a regular dude, right? But most of these influencer types only only exclusively surround themselves around other influencers, right? And they might not say it, they might not know it, they might not even realize it, but everyone is using each other to climb up the scale of the ladder and to make sure that, we can collab, you'll collab on me on this post and we're going to collab on this and all that sort of stuff. Making literally just kuffar level content, kuffar level behaviors, the same type of trends the kuffar are doing, you're doing it as well too. Why? Because you want to ride that wave, It feels good for a video to go viral, my brother. It does. It feels good for you to gain more followers. It feels good. So you will literally sacrifice your things. Muslims, regular Muslims, so you and I see this collaborating with sometimes the wrong people, sometimes collaborating with each other. Only friends that they have are these people. Why? They understand me better. They understand me. They don't know the struggles that I go through. The problem is, you know, I have literally a handful of actual brothers and friends that I would consider who are my actual friends and brothers who happen to be influencers. My circle is tight, it's small, and it's with real human beings, like real people that I've met in real life that I have nothing but love for, and they have nothing but love for me, and who at a drop of a hat will tell me they're not afraid of saying, "Yo, SQ, I think you should check that again." And I have my wife, alhamdulillah, my family who are always taking a good care of me, my children who are always looking after me, bro. I've surrounded myself, fortified myself from being influenced by, trends and this and that. So I recommend that to anyone else. Keep a tight circle around yourself who will ground you with Quran and Sunnah to remind you what your real purpose is. Because if you don't have anyone to ground you in and you think you're just this leader and you're going to be doing everything yourself, no one can say no to you, bro. Like, no one thinks they even have the authority to say no to you. No one even thinks they have the qualifications to say no to you. And if someone gives you their opinion, you'll look at them like, bro, what do you know? What do you know? Do you know how to make a hook? Do you know how to make a video? Do you know how to make a reel? Do you know how to do the bro? I've grown millions in the last 2 years. How many followers have you grown, bro? I've grown millions in the last few years. How many have you done, right? So you don't even take people seriously anymore. So, and like I said, it's a sad reality, but shoot, bro, it is what it is. So that's my advice in a nutshell.
I think the being grounded goes hand in hand with the gratitude, right? So I look at it like I hold a really firm belief that if you're not already grateful for what you have, why would Allah bless you with more? If you're not already grateful for the $1 in your bank account, for the one friend you have, right? Why would Allah give you 10
Facts.
friends, $10,000? It's like we first have to be so grateful for the minimum of what we have to get more. And then we get that abundance mindset too, right? Where it's like, say you have 1 million followers. Well, are you so eternally grateful you have that? Or are you like, well, this guy's got 3 mil, so I need 3 mil?
Mm, mm. Bro, look, if you're not gonna give a penny from a dollar, you're not gonna give a dollar from 100, you know what I mean? Or you're not going to give 10 from 1,000 or 100 from 10,000. You're just not, because it starts from when you don't have anything. That's when you're really forged, right? You have to have this hunger in you, my brother, to be better yourself. Not the hunger to just achieve, right? But yes, to achieve, you have to have that inner driving force within you. That's important. You got to have it. I'm not going to sit over here and just say you got to just fix your intentions and be surrounded yourself. No, but you also got to lock yourself in the cave, right? You got to be in the back cave, but you got to be ready to work, bro. The setting that I'm in, right? This is the lab, bro. This is where I cook up. This is where I work. This is where I get away from everyone. I sit over here. I review my videos. I give feedback to my videos. I execute my stuff. I record things over here. I do things right because this is my fort. This is my area of strict business, strict work, and everything like this. Disciplined work. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, barakallah. But it's not just about intentions, it's about action as well too. And you got to have that inner drive and that hunger, my brother. I don't look at the numbers that I have, honestly. Wallahi, Kenya, I don't look at these things. I'm just focused on building and growing and helping and impacting and influencing and changing hearts and touching hearts and reviving hearts. Bro, I'm a reviver, not an influencer. That's my job. I want to just revive the hearts, help the hearts, strengthen the ummah. That's what I want to do. That's what I care about. I don't care about anything else. Someone asked me yesterday, they're like, yo, how was, like, bro, Palestine was crazy, right? Like, we need to talk about that. And I said, yeah, brother, it was crazy, because about the whole thing. I got locked up over there, stuff like that. He said, but you never made videos about it. And I was just like, yeah, I didn't, right? Because I'm not gonna go on a media tour about things, bro. I made a video. Hey, I'm back safely. Jazakallah khair, guys, for caring. Make a dua for me. That's it. It's time to get back to business. But I'm not, bro. I was severely impacted by that. I still am to some degree. Ever since that happened between you and I and anyone listening to this, right? Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm traumatized and all that. It wasn't like that. But I really do value things a little bit more differently now. I see things more differently now. My number had to change, and when you change your number, you start realizing who really cares and we're always hitting you up, because then they're finding you and they're like, yo, did you change your number, bro? What happened? Because they actually try to hit you up. They try to see this, right? And now that my contact list is even small, because I lost all my contacts, I lost everything like that, I live a better life. Like, I only talk to people who I need to really, really talk to. My content list has shrunk. The people who I hang around with has shrunk. And it's allowed me to see through who really cares and who doesn't. It's helped me, bro. It's helped me realize who's the real one and who's just around me, just being around me. Not that you're leeching off me or anything, because I don't have much to offer, but just some people who are just around you, like just floating around you. And I don't want people like that in my life, bro. I guard my space very, very carefully. But you gotta be determined. You gotta have all these things, and you can't just be some person trying to milk a situation and just go on these media runs either. So that's not who I am. Yo, if that would have happened to me before I was grounded in things, bro, I would have just been going on everywhere talking about it, making every other video about it and all that. But bro, our brothers and sisters are starving over there. Things, it's not about you or me, bro. It's about them. And I know we want to sit here and want to say, "Oh, I'm going to use that event to talk about them." You're really just talking about yourself, bro. You really are. And I just wish people could really just step away from how they come off and realize that, bro, you look pathetic sometimes, bro. Like, please just put the ummah first, right? You keep talking about the ummah, put the ummah first, bro. Stop. People make these things about themselves too much, bro. Or maybe it's just me, Kenya. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Maybe I'm just like, too deep in my thoughts and in my bag a little too much, and I'm overthinking a whole lot of things. And maybe they're doing it right and I'm doing it wrong, right? I'm not claiming to have all the answers. This is just my own perspective that I like to share, because this is what works for me, and what works for me might not work for you or others. But it's just an honest reflection that I've had within myself that I hope you and your audience can appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, I resonate heavily with it. It's something I am really trying to be conscious on right now because I'm trying to document my journey of like building business
Good.
to inspire people, and my channel's growing. But then we also really have to check like how much is our intention true, or are we setting false intention? Right? I want to start a successful business, and my intention so I can take care of my family. Is that
Yeah.
really it, or is the intention so all of your peers then go,
Very good.
wow, look, he's taking care of his family.
Yes.
We
Yes.
care
And
more about
100% can. And I think that a person who thinks like that and who's already diving deep into their intentions, this is literally the work of the scholars. This is the work of the prophets, my brother, where you would dig deep, dive deeper, not just surface level, fake, like I'm thinking, like, is my intentions pure? Like, no, no, no. You are diving deep into your intentions as to why you are doing this. So this is good. And this also shows that a hypocrite does not ever consider if they're ever a hypocrite. This is the quality of a hypocrite. They never see it. So you doing this process of tazkiyah, right, of the purification of the heart, my brother, is a sign that your heart's in the right place. So don't stop doing that. That's my advice to you and anyone else listening to this. Do not stop doing that. But it doesn't have to be something that cripples you either. And that's something important for me to talk about a second. Don't let your intentions cripple you, right? Or the lack of intention, or just the worry, the fear. Oh my God, well, what if I'm not sincere? What if I'm not? No, 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 brother. Hold on. Don't forget the shaitan is also working on you a little bit, right? Do the work. Put out the piece of content, but just make sure that the content is beneficial for the ummah, right? And fix your intentions along the way, right? Make sure you're reading your daily adhkar. Make sure that you're reading some Surah Baqarah. Make sure you're doing your things that you need to do, and post. Do not allow this analysis paralysis to happen, or you get so deep into your intentions that you end up doing nothing. No, fix your intentions. Call yourself out. Do what you need to do. Make 2 extra rakah. Make a sajda. Do things privately off camera, and then still do the work. Put in the action. Go make it happen, because you need to be a person of action. Our deen is not passive. It is something that needs to be built around intention and action.
yeah, it's not a one and done type of thing, right? It's not like we set our intention and then we don't have to change anything from there. We have to reiterate, we've got to change, we've got to pivot. Yeah. So I have a closing question that I do on the podcast. Say that microphone right in front of you.
Yeah.
You speak into it. Every single person in the world
Yeah.
will hear what you say. What would you say?
I would say be better privately than you are publicly. Fear Allah, be conscious of Allah. Put others before you, in particular the ummah. Put the ummah before you. Put the needs of the ummah before you. Put the needs of your family before you. I know some people might think that, but what about you? What about your own health? Your fortification, your selfishness comes in the private hours when no one's watching. It comes in those 2 extra rak'ah of sunnah or nafil, or that extra sajda that you make, or that private good deed that you do. That's where you purify your intentions, right? So put the ummah first. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use you and not replace you. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you a means of benefit, right? And don't focus on the numbers and the ROI of what's the beneficial thing. Like I give dawah and people are just like, how many Qur'ans did you give out today? How many shahadas do you have today? That's not what it's about. When Ibrahim alayhi salam called, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to give the adhan on the top of the Qibla, the Kaaba. Ibrahim alayhi salam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no one here to call. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us all a lesson in those moments, that your job is to call, my job is to bring. So don't worry about the results. Focus on the journey. Focus on the purpose. Focus on the fact that you got to fall in love with the process. And in the process, renew your intentions, fix your intentions, remind yourself why you're doing this, and don't allow people to question your intentions, right? Because if they do, it'll bounce off of you, because you know how hard you work on your intentions. But if you don't, then it's going to affect you. Oh, bro, you don't know what I'm thinking. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know why I'm doing this. Well, maybe that was because it stung you a little bit, because you didn't have your armor. Your armor, there was a kink in your chain, right? If you spend time just bulletproofing your intention, inshallah, it could bounce off of you. Rather, you hear that and you laugh it off because you're like, bro, you don't know that those extra 2 rak'ah I did. You don't know about the extra page of Quran I just read. You don't know about how I cried to Allah asking Him to fix my intentions. So you saying that, oh, you're a clout chaser, this is right, this is the rah, bro, whatever you want to say, right? It doesn't matter. It bounces off of you. But if you're not bulletproofing your intentions and your circle and all these things, I promise you, it's gonna affect you. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make things easy for you. And if you spent this much time into this podcast, I hope that you take a moment to subscribe and join and all those good things for the brother, and keep supporting the work that he's doing. And Brother Kenyon, I'm extremely grateful to have had been on this podcast and be a guest here. And I appreciate you inviting me, my brother, and I hope to do more. And inshallah, if your audience wants me back, get in the comment section, just say, yo, bring SQ back. And inshallah, if the requests are high enough, inshallah, we'll do a part 2, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you for the conversation, bro.
Thank you, my brother.